always wanted to come to Montpellier, I just never had the opportunity. I'm glad that I finally have this chance to visit this beautiful city. It's a great orchestra here. They are such experienced musicians. They have such a passion for what they do, for the music that they play. But most of all, there is such a great energy within the orchestra. They love performing with each other. They love making music together. And I think for me to work with such an orchestra, it's not so much to I would say to influence them, but rather just to make music with them. So of course there are things that every conductor has to do within a rehearsal, which contributes to the process of music making. And by this I mean the very usual tasks that a conductor has to do in order to make sure that, first of all, the structure is clear to the musicians, that we know what we're doing, that we know how the music has to sound like, as far as playing together or moving as one organism is concerned. But when it comes to making music, they do it themselves, and all I have to do, all I should do really is to make sure that I do not interrupt that. That for me is a very important thing about, a very important rule about conducting. That's hard, but I would say my very first memory of conducting professionally was probably after I won the concours in Besançon, and I conducted also the second piano concerto of Chopin, which I will conduct this weekend. And this concert was with the Orchestre National de Bordeaux-Aquitaine, and it was in a beautiful chateau, the Chateau Malheré, with also a very well-known French pianist, Hervé Nkawa, and he played beautifully the second concerto of Chopin, and that is my first professional memory, I would say, as a conductor. Well, the program is interesting in the sense that all three composers have a kind of connection. I would say the connection between Liszt and Chopin, that's clear. The pianism of Liszt is very, very much an extension of the pianism of Chopin. Of course, at the same time, it's very, very different, because both were very outstanding and individual artists and composers. But when it comes to piano and writing for the piano, I would say Chopin and Liszt, these two are at the top. What is less apparent would be the relationship between Liszt and Borodine. Now, these two composers have had a relationship that was more than musical. They were actually very good friends. They were good friends who admired each other's talent greatly. Borodine, of course, traveled many times from St. Petersburg, where he was living, to Germany, where Liszt was living in Weimar. They played music together, they played chamber music together. They spoke about music together, they shared with each other their own compositions. Borodine, of course, was a fan of Liszt. Almost, I would say, worshipped him. Liszt at the same time greatly admired the music of Borodine and helped to promote Borodine's music outside of Russia. So the first performances of Borodine's music, of much of Borodine's music outside of Russia, were very largely due to Liszt. And these two composers, I would say, complement each other, because without the harmonic adventurousness of Liszt, we wouldn't have the very interesting, I would say, harmonic leanings of Borodine. So that relationship between Liszt and Borodine somehow encompasses Chopin, because then Chopin's music was also very much admired by the Russian composers, and especially those who wrote music for the piano. I very much admire and am inspired by Herbert von Karajan, because he is not just a great conductor, he's also a great mind, he's a great visionary. And he, I think, was such a great influence on the development of concert activity in Europe and in the rest of the world, that a lot of the activities which orchestras carry out nowadays, how they program, how they package themselves, how they present themselves as orchestras, are very much, I would say, a product of Karajan's imaginings. That's one. I still love Karajan. He will always be for me my favorite, my idol. Influence, well, I love at the same time Carlos Kleiber, Claudio Abbado. I know they're dead, but at the same time they're very much alive in the world of music, because their influences can always be felt. Not just among conductors, but I think also in the way they made music, which will always live forever through the recordings. In the present day, I'm very much influenced by my mentor, Valery Gergiev, who I think more than any other conductor nowadays resembles Karajan, because he is responsible for so many things, not just music, but he's responsible for creating the Mariinsky Theater into what it is today. Of course, the Mariinsky Theater existed since 200 years ago, but I think Gergiev really took it to its present day importance, and his influence as an artist, as a conductor of Russian music, as a Russian musician, and as an ambassador of music, can be felt everywhere. So for me, Gergiev, Karajan, these are my main, I would say, influences.